Hello, welcome to Authortunity's Open Mic, where the whole point of this is for you to promote yourself. Whether you write poetry or prose, this is the place for you to share it. And if you want to find out more about the Authortunity's Open Mic and how you can participate, go ahead and go to authortunities.substack.com.
Grab some paper, grab your pen, open opportunities, and you can begin. When you exercise your rights and get published, you may change. Write your own path, both wonderful and strange, with opportunities.
So, and we are going to get started tonight with, is it okay if I boast about you a little bit, Gordon? Because, the father of space and time.
Yes, you must, yes.
The creator of space and time is here reading to us tonight. This is Gordon Linzner, who, I know I've said this a million times, started Space and Time in 1966 on a mimeograph machine and then stuck with it until it is what it is today. So he's the man that is responsible for Space and Time, and he's going to read to you. You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm reading a story from Alternative Holidays, published by BQ Press. Obviously, for me, it would be Halloween. It's called Scream Stream. Gary knew all the best shortcuts to avoid the local bullies. Bottlewood Cemetery had held their annual bash that afternoon so as not to compete with the trick-or-treater schedules. To be on site on October 31st, however, wasn't good enough for him. The 14-year-old wanted to be inside the cemetery after dark when the church clock struck midnight, marching Arcall on his phone in total solitude, unless you counted the surrounding corpses. That he'd come across multiple warnings about this sinister legendary video only deepened the temptation. For him to find a visible link had taken him nearly the entire month of October. Even then, it vanished within moments. But not before he downloaded Arcall to his cell phone. The timing could not have been better. The boy squeezed through a gap in the rusted gate and appropriately walked along a narrow stream to the most isolated spot he knew of, behind the Paulwich Cemetery family mausoleum. Their last direct descendant had been interred over a half-century earlier. No one had visited the site in decades, except to pass by. It's all about the atmosphere, he mused. Gary had considered inviting one or two classmates to join him, but decided the moment was too good to share. He hadn't any real friends anyway, just a few other ninth graders who tolerated his presence. One of them would certainly have blabbed to his parents, then he'd really be in trouble. No. He'd show them the video tomorrow, watch their reactions, even as he relived his own. Afterwards, they would realize why they should treat Gary with more respect. He would be in a better position to pick and choose his friends. The boy scooted up low steps to rest against the crypt. The chill of the marble penetrated his parka. All the better for the mood, he told himself, fighting his shiver. The bell in the local church tower, half a mile away, began to toll, echoing through the still air. 5, 6. Gary raised the phone in his left hand. The app had been ready to play Arcall since the moment he entered the cemetery. He blinked, suddenly noticing the battery was down to 70%. He charged it that afternoon. This program must use far more power than he anticipated. Still, should be enough. 8, 9. A cold breeze whipped around the side of the mausoleum. The boy raised his knees, pressing them against his chest to hold in the warmth. 12. And stream. At first, Gary saw only a dark blank screen, heard nothing beyond the wind whispering among the grave sites. It was disappointing. His thumb reached to hit pause so he could check the sound and picture. A faint white wisp danced across the center of the screen. As the image grew, the background sound became louder, a rhythmic shattering of glass. Not quite music, but nonetheless intriguing enough to draw him in. The twirling shape swayed forward, almost filling the screen. Gary made out legs, eyes, long wavy hair, an unsettling grin, but only here and there, not all at once. His own eyes shifted back and forth. He waved the phone before him, trying to focus the entity as a whole, without success. Then he heard a voice, a whisper barely distinguishable from the background sounds. "Welcome to our call." The speaker's tone was neutral. Male or female, he could not tell. When Gary focused on lip movement, the words seemed out of sync. The boy started to respond, then remembered he'd be talking to a video. Might miss something important. A hand reached forward. Gary tightened his grip on the phone, then realized with a shock he was gripping something else. The phone landed with a hollow thunk on concrete steps. His hand felt as it plunged into ice water. He bent to recover the phone. Nothing but darkness could be seen below him, and above, and all around, except for the white mist that continued to address him. "What?" "Welcome to our call," the shape repeated. A void within a void. "This isn't what I wanted," Gary screeched. "I want out." "Hush." A disembodied finger pressed against equally disembodied lips. "Your friends can hit escape on your keyboard at any time. Don't you want to explore this world?" "I have no friends. I'm watching this alone. I was watching. Now I don't know whoever this is." Additional disconnected wisps circled the boy in a macabre dance. "The video is only 15 minutes long," he continued. "When it ends, I return to my own world. The real world, right? Right?" The figure shook its head. "Automatic replay. Still, sooner or later, someone will shut down your computer or restart it. Meanwhile, take advantage of the situation. Think of the stories you can tell afterwards." "I was on my phone," Gary blurted. "Not a computer." "Really? Well, that's not the best way to experience our call. Such a limited view. Again, though, you'll return when somebody finds your phone and shuts it down. Not likely in the dead of night, in the most isolated part of Bottlewood Cemetery," Gary told himself nervously. "The battery will probably go dead first," Gary replied. "That should do it, right? I'm guessing it's half drained already. Won't be long." Wispy lips curled in a frown, or a gloat, or a silent laugh. "One must be properly signed out. It's the one essential rule for all visitors to our call." "But a drained battery, that should automatically sign me out." "Not the same." Other wisps flauntingly echoed the phrase. "Not the same, not the same, not the same." "What then? What will happen?" "Oh, you will join us. There are worse fates. Ask some of the others." A disembodied hand waved toward the increasing number of wisps that began encircling Gary. No one was near enough to the mausoleum or even the cemetery gates to hear the boy's final scream. Happy times. And that's in
Ooh.
the
Cool.
collection Alternate Holidays, which came out 2 years ago from B Cube Press.
Oh, that's awesome. Where did you even get that idea?
It's actually, I have another lighter Halloween story in which it's like this one different ghost shows up after another, and finally he just runs out of the cemetery. But this one, I just decided, let's see if I did that one a little bit darker, how it would turn out.
Yeah, you know me. I always like the dark and depressing. Did everybody die? Oh, yay.
Well, didn't exactly die.
Yeah, well, true. There's fates worse than death, I guess.
Dying would have been better off than died. But yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
We also had Mary Hildebrand join us, so we're going to have another reader, which is exciting. But now I guess it's time to hear from Pixie. What do you think? Ready, Pixie?
Yep, I am ready. I will be reading a unpublished poem called The Departure, Arrival Broadburst. I asked you to wake me up before you left for work The morning I left for the spaceport, traveling home to my family, light years away. The alarm went off at 05:30 early, and you curled into against me, burrowed under cats in the ancient red comforter like rodents seeking solace. We rested in silence, only the alarm, snooze hit twice, broke the sound barrier. Us just touching, holding each other, breathing, vulnerable, painfully alive and mute, as if any words could shatter the crystalline perfection of the last moments of terra cognita and home. Symbols, unreadable, pronounceable by speaking tongues. Open channel home. Made a world, worlds away from the people and places once connected to, with another being who utterly synchronizes without erosion. More incomprehensible signals. I feel an absence like phantom pain. Part of myself is missing, removed. I feel your limbs, not around me. More broad burst signals. My head not on your pectoral muscle. My hand not fitted into your collarbone each night. Signals. A week sleeping in a nest, a corner. A week sleeping alone, lost at sea, in a cousin's twin-sized bed. Broad burst signals. I will come home to find my arms. Re-find my now silenced voice. Return to my core. Signals. Anchor me in this strange new sky. Welcome me home to stay. Close channel home. Broad burst ends. Thank you very much.
Ooh, Pixie.
Cool.
Nice.
Thank
Tell me
you.
about that poem a little bit.
I like that.
Those are new poems.
But tell me where they came from. What dark place did those arise from?
They came from, well, this is embarrassing, but the local airport in Atlanta, if you try to tag yourself at it, it offers you the choice of Hartsfield-Jackson International Spaceport and Hot Wings Express. And as I was at the Spaceport Hot Wings Express, it became and traveling to visit my family back in January, it to me became a interplanetary space journey, and I just ran with it. And I was incredibly homesick, and I decided to broad burst home a poem.
I like that. I also like that you refer to it became a spaceport and I was incredibly homesick. That's intriguing right there.
Yeah, departure, arrival soon, burst. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it's a piece
Yeah.
very dear to me and my fiance.
Awesome. Well, thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
And now we're going to hear from Craig Brownlie, who came and read last week at the cursed mic, the mic that was doomed, and was so patient in the midst of all that chaos. So thank you for coming back, Craig and Pixie.
Oh, my pleasure.
That was a nightmare of technology.
We're surviving.
Yeah. So thanks for daring to return.
We all have to figure things out. Cool. So this is from a collection of mine, Thick as a Brick, that came out a few months ago. It's a collection of stories and poems. I'm going to read the final poem in the collection. It's called The New England Chapter of Broken-Hearted Ghosts. The chairs remain stacked against the walls like cordwood. The New England chapter of Broken-Hearted Ghosts meets here. Out of fear, the lights remain on all the time. Hawthorne and Irving rotate the chairmanship. The religious gather in cliques and bemoan their purgatory. Unable to grasp the gavel, the meeting can never be called to order. The recent dead recant their lies and recriminations. Among the former atheists, conversation is muted. Many are lost in their own thoughts. The specter of past meetings haunts the secretary's minutes. This endless assembly, this embrace of smoke. Thank you.
Ooh, what was that again? What was that from again?
My collection, Thick as a Brick. It's on Godless and Amazon and thereabouts.
Yeah, did you read from that last time?
I think I did. I think
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Apparently, it takes me 2 times to get that on my Amazon list.
Oh, well, I did not have a copy and wave it around.
Oh,
then.
maybe
I was
that's the difference.
traveling.
I need to see it.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. If you tell me that you have a collection, that's very nice, but it's touch and go.
Not real till we see a cover.
Yeah. Yeah, Don Noble did it. It's lovely.
Nice. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that story. Or like what was the inspiration in that?
It's actually, I wrote it quite a while ago, and I don't remember a lot about where it came from. I think I lived in New England, more in New England than I do now, for quite a while, and spent time around Salem and places like that, and it'll get in your bones.
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely say that. I'm thinking of my own times. I used to live up in New Hampshire, so.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Hey, now, I think Mary Hildebrand is new to this open mic. I'm pretty sure, right? Have you read with us before, Mary? And you are muted right now if you're talking.
How's that?
That's perfect.
Am I there?
That's perfect. Yeah. Have you read with us before?
No, absolutely not. And I'm terrified. So
You're going to be fine. I actually recognize your voice now, so I know who you are. You're going to be beautiful.
It'll be okay.
hi, guys.
Hey.
You'll do fine.
Like, who
You know
is
that
this
goofy
person?
giggle, right?
That's what happened. You laughed. I was like, I know who this is. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Let's hear what you've got. And then because I know you came in a little bit after we had started, we're going to go 2 rounds if you want. So if you have anything you want to read on a second round, then we would love to hear it. But right now, the floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, this is just something that I scribbled down. I have a tendency to do this when I am sitting in my car waiting for my son to come out when I pick him up from school. So it's just a little scribbled thing. And here we go. I have never read a poem for people before. So, like this. So I'm a little nervous. Here we go. Okay, my son just popped his head in and scared me. Knife poised, wrist bare, slender and fragile, pale lines of blue, standing out against translucent skin, eyes closed, imagining peace, a quiet soul, an end to fear. The screaming starts, vicious words, taunting and daring. The blade bites, dark red against milky white. Children cry, now their fear can't undo. Feeling numb, doctors sew, next day, nothing has changed but the new scar. That's it.
Wow, I think I might be afraid to ask you what inspired that. That was good. I enjoyed that. And thank you for being brave. You know what I mean? Like for coming on here.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. And it's nice to meet you all.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to ask you what inspired that. Like, where did that poem come from? But feel free to say, shut up, Angela, and mind your own business.
Oh, well, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. Well, actually, yeah, I had major surgery, and I was, still all drugged and goofy, and I did something ridiculous, not realizing what I was doing. Basically, I was mad and saying, "Now everybody just, knock it off, leave me alone, or I'm going to do something stupid." And I did the act, not realizing it would actually happen. And when it did, I was like frozen in terror. Oh my God, what have I done? This was stupid.
Yeah.
I had a little Christmas ornament in my hand that was plastic, and I didn't think it would actually hurt me. And it did.
Yeah.
So, but it taught me a very big lesson. And never did that again. But yeah, so when I write poetry, it tends to come from events in life, which most people do. But that was a bad one, and for some reason, it popped in my head one day, sitting in the school parking lot. So that is where that came from.
That's awesome.
And that hasn't been published or anything. That was just one that was sitting around, and I had sent it to Pixie, and she liked it, so I thought I would share it tonight.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for listening to it and not thinking I'm totally insane.
Oh, no, we do. That's okay. You're in the right spot, though. So are we.
And I enjoyed everybody else's. I was commenting when I didn't know that my mic was turned off.
Oh.
I've never done one of these before, so I didn't realize nobody could hear me.
Oh, that's okay. Well, that's why you were the mystery guest, because I was like, who is this? I recognized the last name.
Well, I like to be all dark and mysterious.
Well, the poem certainly was. I'm going to say that. All right,
Well,
I guess. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm going to read real quick, and then we'll do round 2, which I think everybody has something else to read. I know Gordon does, and Pixie and Craig. And then if you have anything else to read, Mary, then I would love to hear it.
No, I'm good. I'll skip round 2. I would like to listen to everyone else, though.
Okay. And if you change your mind, just pipe up. I'm going to read something. Oh, and tonight, by the way, I guess this is going to come next week. So you can go watch the Nebulas coming up tonight here in a little bit. So that's exciting. But for everybody who's actually listening to this next week, you missed it. Go back and watch the reruns. I'm going to read something that I submitted recently, and I should find out, I think, like pretty soon if it got accepted or not. And this is Cosmology Mixology, or How Not Hooking Up Made Me Hot. I sip deep, and the licorice galaxy stains my tongue blue. Stardust gives me hiccups, and tipsy-topsy I topple into your arms. Our eyes meet. I hold my breath, a limitless vacuum, and feel your pulsar beating. In my peripherals, the zodiac wheels over us, eternal clock winding down to this preordained instant. Scorpius in my blood, Virgo in my head, and I am boneless, primordial, helpless, ooze in your arms. I am at your event horizon. And then you set me back into my body, your smile, a glacial kindness. My heart becomes a red giant in the last stages of stellar evolution, gasping, unable to escape my own gravitational pull. This becomes a dark matter, my universe fragmenting, expanding, outer zoned, collapsing beneath the weight of my loneliness. I reach for another drink, but the stardust has gone flat, and now my blue tongue isn't cute. My world spins, unraveling in need and want, and then you kiss me and say, You wish we could make love, but you've gotten too drunk. And that obviously is a speculative poem. So that's what all the space stuff is. And that was that. And now
Amazing.
Great.
Oh, sorry.
It's amazing. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. I get in like, okay, and now moving on. Thank you. And now, speaking of speculative, not poems, but people, I guess. Can we say you're speculative, Gordon, if you're the father of space and time? Yeah, I think that's probably stretching it. We are going to now hear from Gordon, who's going to read in round 2.
I'm trying to decide. I've got I could do the introduction to my novel that came out a few months ago, Highway to Hell. I think I spent too much time reading earlier. Or I can read the poem from the anthology Circles of Hell, which is also published under Space and Time Books. But both of these were published by a friend, Faith Justice now. Any preferences? Poetry or demons?
What do you guys think?
Demon.
Demons it is. Demons.
And then we've missed, we have to chant now. Demons, demons, demons.
Demons, demons.
I'm all for demons.
Give me a D. Yeah. Yeah, this is like the intro to the suspense novel, so it's pretty short. Amaxobai woke in sweet anticipation, to ride once more upon sweet fluxes, to be enveloped by gray primeval grains and motes, to taste the dust of stars again, to feel the familiar caressing sting of fresh sloughed photons against one's integument. And then, instead, to still be confined to a single point in the continuum, because part of one's substance was tied to an inferior alien dimension. Amaxobai quivered with something like a sigh, and recalled the species responsible for this plight. That newly simulated consciousness rippled with regret. The ancient surroundings of this patch of void remained as despondently featureless as ever. Amaxobai strained reflexively. Fiery agony followed. Continuing could well fragment one's own substance to incoherence, effectively terminating sentience. Such an ending was not without temptation. Trapped here in this in-between, unable to either drift free or wholly enter the place of anchorage, Amaxobai was insupportably bored. To be thus trapped was galling enough. Worse was the knowledge that this misfortune had come at the whim of an inhabitant of that lesser dimension. Moreover, that being's constituent particles had, he sensed, long ago dispersed, taking with them any chance the bonding might be reversed. Not even the satisfaction of contemplating an inevitable retribution remained. How long was long ago? In the normal course of existence, Amaxobai did not measure time in terms of the captor could have understood. There was no necessity for that particular constriction. Unfortunately, the trapped part of his substance was forced to acknowledge and abide by rules of the dimension in which it was anchored. By those standards, Amaxobai had been a captive of this void for a hell of a long time. Millennia. Brooding despair had driven many a sentient being into self-destructive madness. Amaxobai had thus far avoided that fate by virtually shutting down consciousness. Only a few rudimentary sensors had remained alert, primed to fully awaken him if chance brought within range a source of energy that could be tapped to gain freedom. In an infinite universe, Amaxobai knew this would happen eventually. Had, in fact, just happened. For he would not be contemplating these matters. Bitterness was now tempered with hope, with one drawback. Escape, if escape there was to be, could only be made in the direction of the energy source. Any other trajectory attenuated the power until it was little more than background radiation. In this case, what was sensed came from the other, anchoring dimension, which lacked so many of the lights of his own. Moreover, this particular pulse could barely be sensed. Maxie had no surety that it might grow strong enough to be of value. Was the risk worthwhile? Or should consciousness be shut down again, await another source that might prove stronger, more dependable, even more from his rightful dimension? Though failure would leave him no worse off, success would mean freedom, though, albeit in a strange universe governed by bizarre physical laws. A rippling shudder passed through long mound molecules, the equivalent of a shrug in the alien dimension. The attempt would be at least something to do. Even the wrong dimension would be more interesting than this void. Thank you. You can see where it goes from there.
What
Nice.
was that from again? And you can unmute and chat yourselves.
Oh,
Chat.
Highway of Hell.
Highway of Hell from
Yeah.
Space and Time Books.
That
Space and
was
Time Books, which is now run by
awesome. Get
Facebook.
that.
What
I
did
am
you say, Pixie?
fascinated and intrigued.
Yeah.
That was great.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Well, before this time, because this is our last round, tell me where we can find you, Gordon. Like, where can we come and find all your books and find your work and support you?
Well, Space and Time Books has been taken over by Faith, who has her own book line as well called Raggedy Moon. If you go to her site, you'll be able to find this one too. Or worst
Okay.
case, find me on Facebook and I'll send you a link.
Okay.
The other one I read from was B Cubed Press, which I've sold several stories to. I'm very happy with them. This one just came out a couple of years ago. I've got some more stories coming out in various books from them. Check them out. They do a very interesting job. And he also does an online interview with people every Sunday at noon.
Oh, nice. Okay. I've seen a lot of good calls from B-Cubed Books, so that's awesome. All right. Well, thank you. And then, Pixie, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. All right. I'm going to mute myself, and then we are ready to listen.
I am going to be reading my piece, Blind Spot in the Visions, Fire Blazes, that will be in the next Dreams and Nightmares. It is part of an epic poem called Blind Spot in the Visions, Elementary, My Dear, and a very, very different form of it in much more modern speculative language will be in Nature Triumphs anthology. So here we go. Blind Spot in the Visions, Fire Blazes. The stillbursts lie under the crust of earth, seed capsules in compressed soil, scorched by wildfires you kindled. You reckless sky daddy, thunderstruck thunder striker, blustering rage upon birches. The white papery flesh peels from their tall, slender bodies, a copse of corpses. Another angle, a different coast. Redwood, fir, and oaks firewalled off. Pan in. Come spring, the mycelium network revives, the spores to fruiting bodies. Gills ejaculate, burrow. Sprouts off of dead wood, the detrivores do their work unflinching. Machines of conversion. As Hesed for dead forests. Mushrooms full of nutrients and toxins. A spark you kindle in the psyche. Flint and nap on these skeletal branches. Always the crackle that stills the bird song. Combust, crackle, snack timbers. Blaze, blaze, wither, blaze. And yet again, wildwood children break through, rising from their grave like Judgment Day. Part 2. When I came across your body on the trail, I took your hand. We waltzed over the char, stepping upon each other's bare feet, twirling madly, unable to pause. Pinwheels from dollar stores made in slavery, sold wholesale, caught in the backdraft, spiraling like nautili. Oh, sailor, I missed you, I cried, as we went over the cliffside, giggles and tangled dancing. Who by fire? Us, us, us. Part 3. My love, where were you destroyed? Was your poetry maimed in a fiery car wreck? Was it decapitated by guillotine and revision, drawn and quartoed upon all the deaths you sought? Dance with me now, our feet clad in sap-dry cremains and rags. We still together, twice one another's imagination, to create an infinite loop of explanations. Ein Sof is the origin. It makes no difference in knowing. We waltz further to the tree line of ghosts. Footsteps fill with sand, dust, cinders. Hidden green buds emerge, though we became firewood ages ago. From the woods we are thrown, sparks as from beachfront bonfires. Look here, a wild flower blooms, uncurling, that unrolls red flame tongues upon its petals. Thank you. And I can be found at Pixie Bruner's Substack. And my book, The Body is Haunted, is out on Authortunities Press and was Linda Addison's recommendation in HWA Sears. I'm also Moki Gray, MOKEY GREY, on Twitter, X, whatever that is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pixie. I just want to ask, where have you been hiding that poem? I think that is my favorite thing I have ever heard from you or read. Well, I didn't read it. But.
We hid that, and it had too many lines to really be submitted easily. So it is literally being chopped up, but it is a 1,698 word poem, and that is one triptych from a quartet of triptychs that I've been hiding.
Awesome. I love it.
Thank you so much. The fact that it was this one part was able to be parted out and is going to be in a moonshot of mine, Dreams and Nightmares, in the next issue. I wanted to try and read it, and I love this entire piece. It's air chills, water dissolves, and earth covers. It's my most ambitious project, and I have no idea what I'm going to ever do with it. So I'm just playing with it, and just thank you for the opportunity to read part of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll message you after this because I have some ideas where you can put it. So I have some suggestions.
I have gotten a lot of rejections. It is ambitious.
All right, Craig.
Thank
you. Thank you. Craig Brownlie, are you ready to read round 2? I don't know why I'm going Superdome with this, but
yes, I am.
oh, it muted for some reason, Craig. I didn't know if you're reading right now, but your mic is muted.
Huh. Okay.
I didn't touch it. I
was
swear.
on mute. And I just said, holy moly, Pixie. I hope that it finds a home all in one piece because I'd like to read it all. Okay.
A version will be appearing, a much different version, the alt take, that is shorter and only 3 elements, and Nature Triumphs.
Okay. Okay. The poem I'm going to read is not currently published. I don't know. I sit on things for sometimes years. The This is called I Gave the Children. I gave the children crayons drained of color. They traced transparent streaks, glossy outlines, in coloring books designed by angry impressionists. Their grudges united in furious, shiny blurs. To be candid, their mother insisted on an alternative. I fought the crowds for a set of My Little Surrealists, which the children dismembered in gratitude, collaging the floor with questions and bits of canvas. As night loomed, pop art and postmodernism left the children slack-jawed and hyperactive, until I trusted them with scissors and glue in the otherwise empty room. I hired an ambiguous painter for their hardening edges, and asked for flowers and astronauts, but the children intervened while I went for coffee. The painter covered the ceiling in negative space. That's it. Thank you.
Oh wow. That's one that I need to see. Like I need to see those words written down so I can absorb those better.
Thank you. I think. But yes, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes I do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was catching, like I need to go back and see that again. I guess we can watch the reruns. We'll get to watch this.
That's
So
right. There we go.
it just flowed. I was on the image before when a new image was happening. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, where can we find you, Craig? Where can we find your work and how can we support you?
So I have a website, craigbrownlie.com. I'm on all the socials under my own name. And my books are available on Amazon and Godless. There's just a couple currently, with a couple more probably coming out in time for Scares That Care in St. Louis, which at the moment I'm thinking I'm going to.
Awesome. So if you go to Craig's That Care, if you go to Scares That Care, you can find Craig's That Care.
There we go. That's true. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming. And Mary, if you did decide to read, go ahead. If not, no pressure.
No, I'm good for the night. Thanks.
Okay. All right. I guess I will close us out then with one that I did finally get to read it at an open mic, but it has had like some bad luck. This is the bad luck poem because every time I've read it, I blame the chaos open mic on this poem because every time I've tried to read it since, everything went crazy. So I'm going to read it now. And if everything blows up, we know it is this poem. This is called Dropping It. And I've been reading Haibun. I've been all into Haibun lately. This is Dropping It, or I Forgot the Point. It begins with a drop of blood, of water, of tear, of ink, of wine, of kindness, of love, and we sink into whatever that drowns us, be it anchored in pain, or heavenly singing in tiresome refrain, or oceans of weeping, or bathtubs of blood, and we flow from our veins, from our brains, from the mud, across nameless seas, and out of the frame, until nobody remembers our name, and we are everything and nothing, both as the same. And it ends with a drop. When nothing is sacred, then everything is, and whatever is yours can be mine and be his. When we dropped bias, burdens, and divisions and live with no more expectations more than what we can give, then we all become holy together. Close the rift and open your eyes. We are one and the same. 3 millimeters of skin is no reason to blame. Like the birds in the sky, we fly out of the frame until nobody remembers our name, and we are everything and nothing, both as the same. In the flow of time, none of this really matters. We can just drop it. And the end. And
Wonderful.
thank
It
you.
works. That absolutely works. That was emotionally grueling. I'm pretty sad now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you all for coming I've been very tense because the last 2 open mics have blown up so badly. Thanks for coming on again. I was like, I know we can do this. I know this can work. And I really want this wonderful open space where we can all come and read every week, whether, no planning, just do it if you feel like it. No, if you don't, no worries, and have this be an open space for everybody. So I appreciate you guys coming on.
Having us. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, definitely.
Really glad.
Yeah. Oh, Mary,
Thank you for letting me do my first read.
No, you know what? Big round of applause for Mary for doing the first read. I hope you will be back. And you know what we didn't find out, Mary? Where can we find you?
Amazon. And Facebook. That's
what's your
my
name
show.
On Facebook and Amazon? But then we have to tease this out, right? You have to where can we find you? As who?
Beth Hildebrand. Yes, I am Beth Hildebrand. I don't know why I came up as Mary on here. But yes, I'm Beth Hildebrand on Amazon and Facebook, and I have my show all booked up, my podcast, where I interview authors. So there are 3 places you can find me.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't know if Mary was maybe like a code name. I was like, well, I don't want to break your secret.
No code name. It's actually Mary Beth, but I go with the Beth.
Awesome. Well, this is the first, because it didn't blow up, of these open mic podcasts. Yay us, we managed to do it. And then I'm going to put all these links in the bottom so everybody can find this, and this will be popping up next week, and there will be a whole nother reading for us to do, and you guys are invited, and anybody else is as well. So
thank
you.
Forward.
Well, with that awkward closure. Bye, everybody.
Grab some paper, grab your pen, open opportunities, and you can begin. When you exercise your rights and get published, you may change. Write your own path, both wonderful and strange, with opportunities.